Big thank you to all my Patreon supporters for making this channel happen. If you also want access to my online swing dance school, consider supporting us on Patreon. Don't be sullen, friends. I'm here to brighten your day with a new swing dance reaction video. Welcome to Street Smart Swing. Make sure you subscribe below so you don't miss anything. My name is Jamin. I'm excited to take a look at this invitational Jack and Jill competition at the Savoy Ballroom Open Party. I think this is in Korea again. My expectations are high, so I can't wait to give you guys my big fat bloated opinion on who I think is the winner of this competition. I might actually give you two couples. We'll see. Let's take a look. All right. I reckon most of these dancers will be extremely technical. Let's see if they are really unique. I like so far the audience is involved. This is great. Yes. Get some moonwalk in there. There we go. Yeah. This couple really has a sense of timing with the music and knowing when to stop their body. I think this is usually set up well if the leader initiates the stopping so that the follower does not have to vacillate between guessing what's going to happen next and what's happening in real time. That was really good. All right. So this couple already is a little different than the last couple. There's a little bit more fluidity with their movement, less moving and stopping, more going and continuing. Nothing wrong with that, just a totally different style. And it really highlights the technical ability of the dancers' movements as opposed to timing when they can move and stop. Yes. Yes. Oh, that was good. That was good. The follower really knew when to improvise there. It's really hard for followers to know when to improvise. And I would also say for the leaders, but the whole dance is about what happens once something is initiated. So in a way, it's more about the effect from the cause. So that would be the category of the follower. So a lot of times they end up doing too much with their footwork, or the lead gets in the way so that we can't appreciate what the follower is doing when it's their turn. And that last follower, she just crushed it. Okay, this couple already, this is another style of moving and stopping. It's less about moving in the metronome continually. Some would say, well, this is indistinguishable from that other couple, and it might be the case in terms of how they're approaching moving, but body types and personalities and timing, when they actually determine when they're going to do something, all contributes to the uniqueness and the overall aesthetic that couples portray when they're dancing. So I wouldn't say this couple is completely like the other one. What I do like a little bit more about this couple is that they're staying connected more. Most of their moving and stopping has to do with them connecting, not so much being detached and moving and stopping. But this was good. This was really good. Shakes. Yes. So the way that this couple is demonstrating contrast, a lot of people use the word musicality, but I like to just say contrast. What they're doing is they're really hitting the main part of the music that the audience can hear, and they're repeating phrases, or they might just allow the energy to release and they both kind of shimmy or stay in one place and move together. It's a bit more conspicuous in terms of contrast, but it's extremely effective in getting the audience involved. Some people would argue and say it's cheap in terms of like the dance quality, because they're not always demonstrating the dancing. Now they're doing it now. I wish they would do more of this. I kind of fall into that category of when people try to win the audience with gimmicks, that it is a little cheap in that sense. But if you know how to work it right, I mean, you can get away with 1 or 2 times doing that in the right spot, and that might be the distinguishing factor between second and first place. Yeah, good transition there. That was great. Okay, both of these dancers love to express themselves in terms of the showiness of the shapes. So I hope this one works out really well. Sometimes they have trouble when they both have something to say that's a little bit more than the normal moves. Generally, the lead ends up doing too much and doesn't adjust to the follower's personality. And that adjustment isn't always a giant necessity. It's just something that is more related to awareness. Like just being a little bit more quiet than the follower goes a long way to make you both look good. Yeah. So this is a case of what I'm talking about, where they both have so much to say that one has to either give to the other's personality just a tad bit so the audience can appreciate it, or you end up seeing nothing but contrast the entire time. And that kind of creates a chaotic aesthetic to the viewer, and people don't appreciate it as much. They might even equate it to bad technique. I mean, that's what a lot of people would say. Oh, that was a great stop. Good timing. Good timing. See, this is great. This is what I mean by the leader silencing the movement in the right spot so that the audience perspective can shift over to the follower, and it's beautiful. Yes. See, stillness and quietness is so powerful. It's so powerful. That was a great couple. Hey, there we go. Yeah. See, I appreciate randomness. I really do. It's good when it's directly in relationship to the partner and their movement collectively, as opposed to just, individual goofiness. But still, again, individual goofiness and erratic positioning and shapes still breaks the monotony that's often found in these competitions. Yeah. Yeah, this is great how they played off of each other, kind of influencing one another. That was good. Yes. Yeah. So for me, this one has good ideas, but I think there's a tad bit of a disconnect between making the ideas look polished as opposed to just doing the ideas. And what ends up happening is that I almost can surmise that this couple is struggling in terms of how they connect together. Doesn't mean they have bad technique, but it kind of comes across that way. Like the technique isn't as refined as it should be to accommodate their ideas. There we go. There we go. Yes, sir. So this is a good example of the leader setting the tone so that the follower can really get the shine that they need at the end of a call. So the silence of the leader's body makes this really happen. Since the follower doesn't know what's going to happen next, it's implied that they're going to continue moving. So there has to be some type of contrast that's initiated by the leader in order for it to look harmonious. Yes, very good. Yes. That's good. So perfection isn't necessarily the thing that we're looking for. It really is getting a snapshot in that particular moment of, do they know how to control the technique, and what do they have to say uniquely that can amplify their performance so that they look unique. A lot of people will get caught up in the technique and they look indistinguishable from everyone else simply because they're not taking enough risk. And I gotta say, that last couple was probably my favorite so far. Now, what I like about this, there's just a lightness of the leader, a casualness, and it's very clear when the leader is stopping, and now all my attention is on the follower. Yes, very good. Very good transition. You notice that the leader is moving just a little less than the follower. Look how slow his torso is moving. It's a bit more fluid, but everything is controlled. I gotta say, now that was my favorite now. This one showed me the technical part. The one before that showed me the showmanship part. Man, let's talk about it. You know, I had this thought after all these years of judging competitions and participating in competitions. I've really boiled it down to two different types of judges. You have one judge who sees something that someone does in a competition and they think it's awesome. They go up to that person and they're like, man, that was incredible. Or they cheer while they're judging and they're excited, or they're quiet, but they're still they still admire what happened. And then there's those other judges who would never admit that there was anything in that competition that was amazing. And they would never tell the student who competed that they are actually going to go back and watch that video to see if they could learn the move the student did. That's what I found so far. There's this dichotomy of the different types of people. And I don't think being a judge should minify the performance quality of a student. I don't think people are discredited for giving proper praise simply because they're an instructor or they are a judge. I think you have to give proper praise. I mean, that's what pushes the next generation to blossom and to grow and to maximize their skills to the highest capacity to inspire more people. I think really judges and old timers, people who are outside of their peak physically per se, should be providing the foundation and the boundaries so that those who are new never forget where they come from and what makes what they do special and identifiable. Because I think that's usually what happens is new generations tend to forget what it is that makes the thing that they're a part of distinct. And so they begin to add new ideas and destroy old ideas because they feel like, everything centers around them and that they are the arbiter of the dance, and, whatever they like or don't like, they get to change. And I don't think that's good either. I think that's irresponsible. But yeah, I find it really interesting that I'm going to go back and watch this video because there were many things in this competition that I loved. And I'm going to go in my little studio over here and try to imitate some of these moves and go back on YouTube and I do that. And I know many other judges do the same thing. But that's admirable. I love to be entertained by students. And I appreciate every one of these dancers getting out here and giving me the opportunity to get a glimpse of their world and how they feel on the inside being demonstrated to the public. And I think that's admirable. It's gutsy and it takes a bunch of courage. So congratulations to all of the competitors in this Savoy Ballroom competition. Now, I've got to venerate a few of these couples. I got to tell you, there are some things in this one that really made me want to shout and jump outside of the frame that I'm being recorded in. I tried to compose myself as best as possible, but man, I almost didn't make it. I got to say, guys, my first and second place are so close. And I'm kind of vacillating between which one I feel is first place and which one I feel is second place. But again, this is more of a preference issue. This is more of a preference thing. And I'm a little bit harder on the Korean dancers. I am as a whole because they're so good technically. It's no longer about what they can and cannot do with the technique. It really is. Now, about what can they do with the ideas that they have to tell a story that doesn't undermine the music or their partner. How do you do that? That's the art part. I think this community is there, and they need to be assessed at that level. What can they do now with it now that they've mastered it? So I find this one so incredible. My second place, I've pinpointed why they're my second place. My second place couple goes to the girl. She had like a peach dress on. It matches the logo in the back, and the gentleman had the hat on. They were incredible. As you could see them coming out here, there is so much to love. Immediately, I see the zeal of the leader to match the follower's tone. Boom. There's stops and random spots. There's showmanship. They're taking turns, and I don't see the follower just simply being a prop for the leader to do fancy things. I see the leader using a tremendous amount of restraint in the right spots to allow the partner to be the perfect echo of whatever the intentions were that he was starting. So even there, like right there, there's a stop, and she continues to move. It allows the audience to see them as one complete unit, shining at different points. And I even love how they're just separating at different points and coming back together. It's not in those conspicuous moments that the audience does the fake scream. No, this was just raw inspiration. They're moving, they're stopping, they're celebrating. It's so good. It's so good on so many levels. Even this party's like, I'm just gonna let you go and do your thing. And I love it. The timing, the showmanship, the performance, all of it is there. And I would say in a typical, right there is my favorite moment. I'm gonna go back and watch that like 20 times to see if I can nail it. I probably will. It won't take 20 times, but it's still pretty dope. It was still awesome. So again, hats off to this couple. They were just so raw and so good and so grimy. And it had that real visceral feeling of a jam circle. And I could also see the rhythmic nature of both dancers moving vertically in the music. And it made me appreciate the music more. I appreciated the rhythm guitar and the basses, just the fact that they're visually interpreting what I'm hearing and hitting all of those stops in the right spot. Remind me of all the brass instruments. They're hitting the trumpet. There's so many things that show me the orchestra. They show me the band visually in a very organized way. No one's taking a long drum solo. No one's blowing the trumpet in an obnoxious way. And I say this from a dancer's perspective. I say that the dancers aren't doing that. And I love that they're not doing that. It was a very mature demonstration. And that's what I'm going to say. So that for me, in a typical competition, they would have been first, but everybody else was pretty good. So then I had to take a little layer and say, well, what makes this next couple more distinct than my second place couple? Well, let's get into them. Now, my first place couple, they didn't do as many fancy things that were explosive per se with the energy level, but I will say it was just as intricate, and I would even suggest more controlled. And so I think it's a more difficult set of movements to replicate because they're doing a lot of syncopations, but they're done with masterful control. And I am excited to announce my favorite couple on this particular competition. She had I really can't tell the color. It's like it might be a gray or black dress or red dress, but he had like a tan shirt. You could see as they come out here, the very beginning, they actually followed my second place couple. That's what's great about it. It's like there's just one after another. So as you can see, look at the leader's torso. He's moving his torso incredibly slow, and he's allowing his partner to move a little bit more than him. So every time the leader moves after this, you can actually see it more vividly. Every little foot movement that he does is basically complementing and contrasting the follower. There's no sense of rushness. Everything is controlled. Every little dip. Look at the audience. They're giving the same amount of response as they did the couple before. But there's just a sophistication that's here that says, yeah, I can be explosive if I want, but this transition right there, look at that control. It says I can be sophisticated, I can be explosive, but I'm choosing to have perfect control while balancing it with the tone of the song that I'm dancing to. Not saying my second place couple didn't do that, but in this case, I am valuing more control with the artistry than simply having good control with the artistry. I would say this is near excellent control and mental discipline to know when not to move in order to make both of them shine together. So this couple right here ultimately is my favorite couple. In a traditional competition, again, I would have probably had them maybe first place or second place. It all depends on the accompanying competitors, because sometimes you may not have competitors that match even what these two couples did. Now, the fact that these two couples are so good, that's what makes it so difficult. It's more of a preference. Do you want to value entertaining the audience? Do you want to value how well the dancers can mesh with the song that they're dancing to? Do you want to value just simply the technique? It all depends on the judge. And so for me, I look at control, timing, and creativity. And when everybody can do pretty much all three, then we have to get into what people are not doing and how well they're doing those things. You have to really get into those gray areas. And that was an honor to watch. So, man, thank you guys. That was an incredible performance all around. And as I said, I'm going to probably go in my other room here and practice some of those moves from those couples that I really liked. So what did you guys think about this competition? Let me know in the comment section below. Who was your favorite? What was your favorite moment? Just put the time code there so I can see if it was the same as some of mine. I would appreciate that, because there were so many great moments, so many great hits, and it hits people differently when you watch an incredible performance, particularly if you were there and it was live. Man, that's a totally different thing. Okay, guys, so I'm going to wrap this video up. If you guys want to get some inspiration for your own dancing, your own Jack and Jills, or you just want to get better at social dancing, I would encourage you to check out some of my free courses below in the description. And if you guys want to get access to my entire swing dance catalog, I literally give away everything, all my masterful secrets, everything about teaching, everything about how to be more creative, all of the technical things that you could learn. Just become a supporter of this channel on Patreon, and you will have the opportunity to walk through the gates of opportunity and success. So, you guys are awesome. Thanks for watching this. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.